Genji 2 is an action game which is based on Japanese history. Being based on history, the stages of the game will also be based on famous battles which actually took place in ancient Japan. So here's this giant enemy crab.
Soon, did you play Aaron Shore, by the way? Did you end up playing that?
Well, yeah, like a little bit of it.
How much of it did you play?
I didn't know where to really go or do, so I played a tiny bit, and everything was like, "This looks stronger than you." It's like, okay. It's like,
you got lost too.
What do I do?
Yeah, you and Fliz both got lost because I didn't have that hard of a time going around until like a little bit later on. And one of the things of that game, it's surprisingly hard. It's like really difficult because you can group up with like the other quote people. But then, like, actually doing stuff, things just whoop your ass. Like, like you just get destroyed. And the way the skills work and everything, you have to, like, go buy them. And there's no, like, leveling up doesn't really mean anything almost. It ended up being kind of very incomplete, surprisingly. But it is early access.
I guess that kind of plays into the whole maybe classic MMO experience.
Yeah, the only thing was there was no quest markers. That really bugged me. Like it was trying to find a quest in that game. I was working for it. I was like, where? What am I supposed to do?
That's how it used to be back in classic WoW, man. You didn't get a quest marker.
Yeah, it
like
was
to
still
start
like,
it maybe, but like to know where to go and shit. Yeah, no, you were on your own.
Yeah. Luckily, the area they have you start out in like is super small, so it's not that big of a deal. I was just surprised by how like difficult it was. And the other thing too, there's a dungeon in there. I don't know if you found the dungeon at all.
Dude, I think it was like level 2.
I played like 10 minutes and hated the way it looked and turned it off.
Yeah. Well, the thing that was funny is, you know how in like MMOs, the dungeons are always like enormous, like in WoW, like the buildings are like made for giants for some reason, right?
Yeah.
I now appreciate that so much. I always thought it was really weird before, but now I know why. Because the dungeons in Aaron Shore are kind of to scale, and it feels terrible. Like you go into a room and you can't see like where all the enemies are, so you just get like just completely blindsided, and the camera's awful, or people are in the way and you can't target things correctly because the camera. It's just terrible. So now I see why they do that in those dungeons and why they're always so huge.
I kept greeting an NPC and he kept just saying bruh. And I was like, this is okay.
He said bruh.
So we're not going back to that offline Momorphiga.
I might when it's more done.
Yeah, it is early access. Maybe I'll go back. Unless it costs money, then I probably won't. It was free.
I thought like part of it that was weird because I played a little bit of Throne and Liberty too. I downloaded that and gave that a shot.
I remember watching you do that.
Yeah, it's I think it's more. I don't know what an MMO would have to do to get me on board to relearn all kinds of stuff and just like, oh, here's another MMO, because they all follow the same basic structure at this point.
Yeah,
it works, but after so many, it's not intriguing to here's a world, here's your mail, here's the auction house, go find a quest that you don't know anything about and just click the guy and go to the place and then click the guy and go to the like. No, I think if I ever want to go back to an MMO, I'm just going to go back to Final Fantasy.
Yeah, they're kind of all the same, and
they're all the same.
Invested time in one of them, might as well keep going.
Yeah, or WoW, maybe WoW.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, I tried to play Elder Scrolls Online, and like I've gone back to it multiple times. I just find it boring. Like there's never anything to do. I'm like, I don't really want to do anything. Like I don't. None of it seems fun anymore. I don't know.
What are you supposed to be doing in that game?
There's like trials and things to do. There's the PvP, but the problem is trying to get like enough people to do it. And I don't have like the patience to try to coordinate that many people or like set times to oh, it's trial day, let's go do trials. Like, no thanks.
Yeah, that's why we failed at Final Fantasy.
Yeah, so kind of why I had like appeal for like a single player MMOS, so still get like the same feel for it, but I don't have to worry about that. I can just jump in and do it. And Aaron Shore is just too it's too rough of a game.
It's a little archaic.
Yeah.
It's definitely like RuneScape 2.0 looking kind of.
Yeah.
Even I think new RuneScape looks better than that.
Well, you say that, and actually, the creator or one of the designers for RuneScape is making one of those. He's making a single player MMORPG.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know what the hype is about it. Like, it's just the thing right now. I don't know why, but it actually looks pretty interesting. I'll probably, I definitely want to give that one a try. It comes out in 3 days on the 6th.
Oh,
Which one? Wait, which one? Not Aaron Short. The one you're talking about?
Is it Brightmoor? I believe it's called. I can't remember it. I have it wish listed. Yeah, it looks interesting.
Brightmoor. I don't think I spelled it right.
Aaron Shore
Hold on.
and Brightmoor.
Is Brightmoor not on Steam?
It's on Steam. I just can't remember the name of it exactly. I always forget it. That's why I have it wish listed, so I don't have to remember it. I can just scroll through. Oh, there it is.
I don't have a segue.
Oh no.
When has that ever stopped you?
True. You know, sometimes you just be like, well, here we go.
Well, here we go. Welcome to episode 22 of the Giant and Evening Crab podcast. I even messed up the title. I'm Fliz, your host, joined by Soon and Kyler and Strider, Mr. EA over here. And we're back again with some gaming news, talking about our offline Momorpagas.
Yeah, it's Brighter Shores, by the way. I was close.
No,
I
that's
almost
why
had
I'm not finding it.
Yeah, I was close. I was almost there.
Rider Shores. Yo, there's a Goblet
All right, well,
Marketplace.
We got news about stuff.
We definitely have some news to that stuff.
Let me hear what you got, Jacob.
All
Let's
right.
just get into it.
All right. So, Nintendo's been kind of on a roll lately with releasing a bunch of random things. Because we've had, the alarm clock that they released like pretty recently.
Alarmo.
The
It plays
Alarmo.
Doom. I saw that.
Yeah.
Everything plays Doom.
It's always a question of can it run Doom, and the answer will be yes.
Yeah.
And then like a few days later, they announced the fucking only game I bought a Wii U for is getting a port after 10 years. They announced that
What game is that?
Xenoblade Chronicles X is getting a definitive edition port
Wait, to Switch? Or
for the
For what?
Switch.
oh, nice. Okay.
What else would it go to? Like,
It's a Nintendo thing.
Game Boy. It's gonna go to the Game Boy.
It's going to go to iOS.
Oh no, that's
That would
interesting.
be
I think it's cool, man. I like Xenoblade Chronicles X. That was one of the main reasons I had this Wii U.
I enjoy that game too. That's the only game where it made me like actually scared when the giant monkey came up and it's like level 900.
I just remember the one theme where he's like, "We're stuck on a different plane."
The normal battle theme is definitely an experience.
I like it.
I've never. Have you guys ever bought other games? Like bought a platform just for a game? I
I mean, the
Wouldn't-
Wii U purchase. There were other stuff I wanted to, but that was definitely one of the influences.
dang, y'all both bought the Wii U for that?
And other things.
In terms of like, it was my the main reason, as that I was most excited by a long shot to play this, because I saw the trailer for it and I was like, I need to play this.
All right.
I got the Wii U to play Monster Hunter Tri Ultimate. That was one of the ones I got. And
What
then I
ex-
bought the PlayStation 5 to play the new God of War. And I never actually ended up getting the new God of War.
What have you used your PS5 for?
Literally nothing. Well, I played Final Fantasy, the new Final Fantasy at the time. But other than that, yeah, I didn't want to spend that much money on God of War, so I just never bought it.
But you bought a PS5.
I did.
You got
You spent that amount of money twice.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, because I remember I was searching for a PlayStation 5 for the longest time, and I couldn't find one. And I had like one of those gift cards from my work for like $500. And because it was going to expire, I ended up just donating to Fliz when he used to stream
You made
on
it
his
rain
Twitch
on
stream.
Fliz.
Yeah. And
That was a
then
fun day.
the next day I went to work, which is it's in like a Walmart like esque store, right? And they had like a PlayStation 5 there, and I was like, no way. Literally the next day after I gave that to you. And then I ended up buying
now
it.
I feel bad.
truth come
it's
out,
the
man.
karma. It's the karma payoff. He immediately got rewarded for it, for giving you a bunch of money, for being a nice friend.
Spend $1,000.
Hey, well, 500 of it wasn't mine, so
Yeah, there's that. That's also cheaper than what the fuck PS5s are going for.
that's true. They were going for like 1,200.
And now they're outdated.
Yeah, now there's a new one, it's all shiny. But continue, sorry.
But yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles X, one of my all-time favorite games. It's probably my favorite exploration of any game ever, in terms of like the world you explore.
I like the big robots.
But alongside announcing that, have you guys heard about the new Nintendo Music app that they released?
I did, yeah,
No?
and I was like, that explains a lot.
What is this?
Yeah, so they released a music app that basically I think it's for their online subscribers to their pro membership or whatever
The Nintendo thing?
Yep.
Okay.
But it just allows you to listen to music from just a bunch of Nintendo games all throughout their time. But there's something very controversial I've seen about this. The music app does not credit the composers at all. Like,
That's crazy considering they've been suing people for using their music lately. And
Yeah.
now they're like, here's our music app that we made all the music on.
It's all Nintendo, baby.
because I think the app tells you like what game it's from, the name of the track, and like when it was, like when it was made. I think is like roughly. It's like very little information, but they don't credit the composers at all.
That's stupid.
Yeah, I remember looking at that and remembering all the the copyright strikes they were doing to tons of different YouTubers and other content creators with their music specifically. And like no video game company does that pretty much ever, because it's kind of one of those things where you want content creators to make stuff about your game to kind of spread it around, make a community. And then this came out and I was like, oh, that's why. What a what a dumb app. I don't know, is that just me? Like, I can't see myself downloading the Nintendo Music app so I can listen to the Mario theme.
I mean, if they take the Mario theme away from everywhere else,
Even then, I'm not out there listening to the Mario
Hey man,
theme.
if they officially license and get Save Me Mario on there, I'm down.
No,
they don't. I think that's been taken down a few times.
It has.
It's been fan uploaded now.
Yeah, they can't kill it.
It's in the zeitgeist now.
Also, did you guys see that Steam's new requirement for developers in terms of for related to anti-cheat?
Yeah, they're gonna start requiring game devs to say whether their games use oh god, I'm drawing a blank on it. Kernel level anti-cheat.
kernel
Yep,
level.
that's what it is.
But yeah, so now I think it's listed right under the like the tags, or not the tags, but like the single player online co-op, those stuff. There'll be a little notification like what anti-cheat it is and if it's kernel level.
That's pretty good, because there's definitely like a lot of games I've seen where people will just entirely avoid it if it uses a certain anti-cheat. Like there are very few that are like trusted. Like, easy anti-cheat's one of the very common ones that people are usually okay with, but like any other ones besides that, people start getting a little iffy on.
We should really do like a deep dive into kernel level anti-cheats, because I remember when was it Riot? Yeah, when Riot was doing Vanguard, like I spent a lot of time trying to figure out exactly if it was good or bad or worth it, and there's a lot of misinformation from companies, and then the other stuff is so like vitriolic that I can't take it for what it is. Like people are either super mad or for the company. So I was kind of always held up on like, is it really as bad as I think it is? I guess it boils down to personal opinion as far as, do I want somebody with that kind of access? But
Well,
will they use it or not? I don't know.
To kind of explain that, it's not so much the access that you're giving this software that is a problem, right? The first kind of problem with this type of anti-cheat is it raises the bar, where the hacks and everything that come out to circumvent anti-cheat, like, because you can still circumvent it, is not worth like what the software itself can do to your computer. With an example being Genshin Impact's like anti-cheat, right? how Genshin Impact's anti-cheat, it didn't actually cause a problem, the game itself. Like having that game installed will not cause a problem. But what did arise is the certificate, the security certificate for the anti-cheat was eventually used to create a virus that is a kernel level virus. And it is completely like separated from the game. People just grabbed it and used it to create viruses with it. So that's kind of like where it's like, okay, you're making software that's getting like approved that has this level of access and such and so forth. It's very niche things that can happen, but ultimately they do. And at the end of the day, you're doing this to stop people from cheating at video games. And even further, you know, they're not like solid. Like there's always ways to circumvent these. Like even if you look at League of Legends and Vanguard's from Riot, just play on Mac. Like you just play on Mac and yeah, it's done. Like they can't do anything to stop you.
It just seems like a lot for cheating at video games.
It is.
You know?
That is a big problem. It's just it's a lot to do. It's a lot of access to potentially give for what is essentially a video game that can potentially cause system instability. I don't think one thing that is not true is like the whole, you know, oh, you're giving China kernel level access to your computer. That's just not a thing.
China already has my data. They can keep it.
It's pretty much one of those arguments too, but that's just not like a safety concern that much. It totally can be, but it's not something that you should necessarily be worried about. If it is, then I will say you probably should be using a separate machine if you have that data on your computer, and if you're not that concerned about security in the first place, you know.
I'm not. I don't have anything going on. It's fine.
Yeah, if you use your computer for games, then it should just be for
Who
games,
cares? Yeah.
or you know what you're doing in regards to your own security.
Dude, at this point, I can only use my computer for one thing if I'm gaming. Like I can't do anything else with it. Everything takes too much data, too much processing power. I was gonna say powder.
Powder.
Yeah, speaking of that, we did get a comment about Denuvo, and now I'm I want to look into it more. I meant to this week, and I never did. But yeah, apparently everybody hates that a lot.
Yeah.
Because you were talking about it last week, and I don't know anything about it. So apparently I'm out of the loop. I need to do my research.
Denuvo has definitely been contentious at best for PC gamers for quite a few years now.
It's one of the main reasons you'll see certain things like review bombed on Steam.
Yeah, and just artificially makes the game run worse.
Yep. It usually when like they're doing a bad like sanity check, quote unquote. Like I know like there's some infamous examples that I commented on where like they had the game check anytime for every frame a key was pressed, which massively could chunked your performance.
Like, making games is hard. There's a lot of stuff to worry about.
There is. Yeah. Speaking of making games, did you guys hear that Activision's quality assurance started a strike right after Black Ops 6 released?
Did they?
On their return to work policy.
Oh God.
No, that's legitimate. Yeah, I remember that was a huge issue with this was Activision?
Yep, Activision quality assurance. I believe the mandate was like from back in January. They're raising the strike now because of all the eyes on them from Black Ops 6's release, which also apparently is the biggest Call of Duty to date, like by a sizable chunk.
Apparently, it's killing it.
Yeah, big part of that is due to Game Pass, from what I understand.
Yeah, I saw something where like they thought Game Pass would take money away from it, and apparently it's doing just fine regardless.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's mostly because at this point, Call of Duty, like the game itself isn't the actual product. It's the microtransactions inside the product.
Absolutely.
That's the real product.
My Godzilla skins, I need them.
Yeah. To spoil me on something else. You're going to fire up a Call of Duty game and get spoiled for something that doesn't even exist yet. Just wait.
Damn. That kind of sucks though, because they're unionized now, aren't they? I'm pretty sure they are. They got unionized a couple years ago, I think.
Was that faction of Activision?
I believe Activision Blizzard, just as in totality, I thought was the one that unionized their quality assurance control, but I could be wrong.
I mean, if so, good, then strike. That's what a union is for.
For anyone that doesn't know, the reason why it's such a huge deal for like at home calls for quality assurance workers, because in most cases people think it's just them being lazy because they don't want to go in the office. That's not necessarily the case, because there's very large issues with people being like dragged like from their state to go to Activision Blizzard headquarters, and these workers get paid like minimum wage in that state. Like it is literally nothing. Like you can't live off of it. But it's done under the promise of full-time employment, and they're contracted on for like 6 months to a year. And then once those contracts run out, that promise of full-time employment just falls through, and now they're kind of stuck there and out of a job. That is a very common problem with quality assurance workers in video game industry. So having them work remotely was a huge way to help them, and forcing them to come into the office is something that's it's not the greatest,
Well, it doesn't. A lot of the problems, especially from the book, was like along those same lines of like just really how expensive it is to live near the headquarters. And so you have these people who have, like you said, moved states for this job or something, for the prestige of working at Activision or something, even for lower than average pay. And they have to, because of the pay, they have to live an hour and a half away, 2 hours, right? And that commute is maybe feasible if you're only going into the office 2 times a week. But now when you're forcing everybody to come in every day, it just makes it unmanageable. 4 hours of commute every day because you can't afford to live where your job is.
Well, I guess.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
My God.
So I'm hoping the strike goes well and they, revert that. But I wonder if like what issues they were having that caused them to do a call to the office in the first place. I wonder what was going on, if anything.
As far as I know, a lot of that is simply to justify having an office in the first place.
Oh, just avoid having an office that's empty. Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
I remember in the book they were talking because this has been going on with Activision Blizzard for a long time. They've been dealing with this work from home and like telling people they can do that, and then when the job starts or a couple months in, they're like, "No, you can't do that anymore." And a big part, like there was a big section of the book where like they told everybody, "Okay, well, COVID's kind of coming back, so we're gonna send you back to the office. Everybody back to work now, back to the building." And they got there, and there weren't even like desks or room for everybody. Like it wasn't even set up for everybody to work there. They were just being forced to come back.
Oh, yeah, especially with COVID expansion during that time for the games industry too. I could see that happening like really badly. That'd be awful.
Yeah, I hope it goes well for them. I like seeing more reform in this industry.
Hopefully it goes better than fucking Firewalk Studios, who have now been shut down. And
I mean, we all saw that coming.
I mean, yeah, but so for anyone who doesn't know, Firewalk Studios is the studio that's responsible for creating Concord, and they're being shut down. And apparently, we finally have like an official number for Concord's budget. We have an official number.
Ooh, drum roll, please.
The budget was $200 million, but this was not the full development cost. This was once they were acquired by Sony, I believe, is when this budget value is from. And it does not also include the price for Sony actually purchasing the studio. So
it's so much money just thrown away.
I mean, what?
It's crazy.
It's one of the biggest like flops, not in just like it's the biggest flop in gaming, but it's also like just one of the biggest flops in like in the entertainment industry in general. Like what other thing has made like effectively $0? Like
negative money because you had to refund all the copies.
Yeah, like they refunded everything. So like what their income was basically zero. Like it was all expenses, no profit.
Hey man, it's about the journey.
What journey?
It's about the friends you made along the way.
That's right. That's a real profit right there.
Yeah.
The journey was just basically the equivalent of going from out your door to the neighbors. Like, you didn't go anywhere.
And it cost you $200 million.
What the fuck is my neighbor's rate?
Do you think that could have been saved with a free-to-play release?
I mean,
Like, even a little bit?
well, it would have been an infinitely better position for them, probably, right? Like, then they would have at least earned maybe something for microtransactions or something. Like, recoup a little bit of that cost.
That's just crazy to take that like, to look at the market. You know, you had Overwatch, which is kind of the king of all the, what are they called? MOBAs? Not a MOBA.
Hero
I don't know
shooter.
what it is. Hero shooter, yeah.
Pew pew.
And then on top of that, you have, you know, a dozen other free entries, and Deadlock released that same month or even the same week, right?
Oh,
So
pretty
I
much,
don't know.
yeah.
I don't know what they were
I
thinking.
think it's about the same time frame.
Close enough for me to not know Concord existed.
Yeah. I mean, I
oh.
guess it's a question of whether it was worth like operational costs. Like, should they even bother having people do it, or just scrapping it? Because it had so many deeper issues than just, you know, the gameplay. Like, even the people didn't like the characters at all. It was just not great.
Honestly, from what I understand, the gameplay was one of the better parts of it.
Yeah, same. I heard that as well. They just surrounded it with
Garbage.
unpleasant things. Yeah. Well, maybe not even garbage. Like, it wasn't the end of the. It's not like they put out like Hitler as a playable character. Right? Like, it's not.
Hey, that
it's
might
not
have saved them.
terrible. It
Just for the
might have at this
controversy.
point. Yeah. but like
Hitler?
they just had ugly. They just had ugly characters. That's all. Not even ugly designed outfits for characters.
And terrible marketing. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it's just the marketing was just.
No, because like they released the beta and people played that, and then nobody came back.
More people played the beta than the full game.
I don't know. Well, maybe I more mean maybe they viewed that they'd have to do more marketing for a second release. You know, maybe that's what it was.
Probably,
I
yeah.
don't know. Like, I'm also surprised that they just decided to cut it and cut the studio and just say we're doing something else. They're probably gonna use assets for something, but it still sucks. You know.
Yeah, I don't know. I want. You know what sucks is I want a hero shooter besides Overwatch that I enjoy. Because Deadlock is almost there, but it's more. It feels more MOBA like.
Well, it's more mobile
Just
leaning.
third person. Yeah, it's more mobile, and that's not really what I wanted, and that's why I've never really gone back. Because I do want. I would have loved it if Concord did great. I wanted something like that to play. It's unfortunate though.
It's very.
Oh well.
It's very unfortunate. So Ubisoft has apparently launched something that I understand in the past week that is very interesting. Because apparently they launched a NFT blockchain game.
Dude, they're so out of touch.
Like,
Yeah.
What are they doing?
Because it's called Champions Tactics and Grimoria Chronicles. And reading about it, there was actually something very interesting. Is during their trailer, they have, I think it was an adults only rating by the ESRB, and then someone checked and like they couldn't actually find like the listing basically in the ESRB's rating. And then, like, so they reached the article I was reading, reached out. It was like, can we get a comment on this? And apparently, some member got back to them. It's like, yeah, Ubisoft just actually didn't apply for a rating from the ESRB board.
Yeah.
So, which, as I found out, actually isn't a requirement to release a game. The only problem
No.
is that all consoles and most like retailers require that rating to be able to your game to be sold on their market/consoles. So that was very interesting. What is Ubisoft doing trying to do a blockchain game now?
Do you know why? Because there is a reason.
Is there?
Because they just released a few days ago their half-year results. Their financial report came out, and oh my god, dude,
Is it bad?
So yeah, it's pretty bad. Their sales is down almost 20% year to year. Their net bookings down 22%, and their net back catalog net bookings, so this like in totality, is down almost 30%, which is absurd. That is a crazy amount. Like for most companies, even like going up in sales, like in the single digit percentage, isn't that great. To go down in double digits is pretty bad. To go down a third of your profits, oh my gosh. You know, they are not doing good. So I could totally see them releasing an NFT game. Just throw it up there, man. Do something.
Yeah, no, the thing is, like, the only place you can get it is out their website. From what
Yeah, because they didn't want to pay for an ESRB rating. We don't have the funds.
like
Just throw
also,
it up there.
to play the game, you need like a verified like blockchain wallet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To even be able to play the game, and like the quote unquote characters / figurines you use are going anywhere from like fucking, I don't know, like there's multiple $100 ones that are common from what I was reading, but there's also ones that are like, $51,000.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing one right here that's going for 56,666.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And it looks like I think it's a gotcha game type thing. You just like craft the characters and
Yep.
put them together and make stronger ones. Boy, that spending that kind of money on something that's extremely unproven and new. 56K.
Yeah, and even then, apparently the high end stuff is like almost it's like over $300,000. Like no joke. I guess.
No, I'm looking at the low to high. Like I'm looking at all the prices right now.
Oh yeah, an article I read says that it caps around $300,000 for some of the stuff. Some of the
I mean,
figures.
it's all just like money laundering anyway.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, there's definitely a lot to do with money laundering. Money.
So
Monday.
So I'm kind of curious. Like in this game, I might have to do some more research into it. But can I play and have a chance to unlock and get something that ends up being worth $56,000?
That'd be crazy.
I don't think so.
Like what do you? What is? I need to like play this. I need to play this and figure it out.
Do you have a verified
I don't have a
blockchain?
blockchain wallet. I can't. I don't have one. I've never been a Bitcoin guy.
Time to
I
get
think
the bitcoins.
how
Use your Doge.
you probably could. I don't think you actually ever would though. Like the odds of it actually happening,
Would
but
be astronomical.
yeah, like you wouldn't earn that huge of a profit, I don't think. But technically, it's supposed to be possible to create new NFTs that might be worth something by, doing whatever the game has you do to make new ones.
Okay.
That's kind of the idea behind it.
So I feel like it would be a system where like, oh yeah, you can create this guy, but to actually be able to get the parts or whatever, get to that point in the game where you would have had to have already spent a ton of money on what you had or invested like way more time than possible to even get close to that. Like it's sealed off from you. Basically what I'm thinking is to actually get to where you could make money, you have to spend a lot of money.
Yeah, it's all just one giant Ponzi scheme, essentially. That's what it all is. Especially when you consider that the creator of the NFT game has full control over the value of everything, anyways. So, none of it's actually real. It's just like those banana clicker games too that are on Steam, where
all NFTs are a scam.
Yeah, the owner can just make bananas that are worth however much they decide. They could say they're ultra mega rare, $58, and that's just what they are.
I've just created my own currency, and these people will buy it.
So I believe that's the point of the blockchain, right? Is to stop that from being a thing. Like you can't just say, I own Banana Clicker and I just made I don't know. I have $100,000 banana that I can just make and sell. Right?
Yeah,
that's not a thing.
It's the blockchain is pretty much just a way to like decentralize cryptocurrency and make it more peer to peer. So it basically makes it so you own this block in the chain, like that is yours.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it is.
It seems like a lot.
It is,
And it doesn't seem like it works.
No, there's a reason.
Except for-
There's a reason people hate it, and even like larger companies have not been doing this. EA isn't doing it. Sega isn't doing it. Mojang and Valve aren't doing it. No one's doing it.
Sony was. I remember we talked about it. Sony created its own NFT platform, or it was making its own blockchain or something.
Yeah, well, they made their own blockchain, but they didn't make a game with it. They just decided to make a blockchain, and so far nothing's been done unless we get a Concord NFT game. Maybe that's what it is.
An NFT hero shooter? I'm kind of on board. If I can make money from a hero shooter, yeah, I'll try it.
See,
Come on,
that's
Sony,
where
get
the
it
real
together.
money is, right there.
Concord 2.
Oh, here's the thing. And now that the game is discontinued, all the parts from it are worth even more.
You get an original Concord character right here for $100 trillion.
Do you think Concord will go the way of predecessor?
I hope not.
And just sell off its
Sell off its assets? And then
whatever.
we'll
I don't
get-
know. I hope.
Concordining with this fan made one.
Who knows, dude? Ubisoft is just doing whatever at this point.
They are trying to stay afloat.
They are just like, I know when somebody really drowns, they kind of just disappear underwater, but they're like movie drowning where they're like flailing and splashing all over.
Yeah.
They might get shoved underwater once Assassin's Creed releases, and if it doesn't do numbers, oh, they're gonna be in trouble.
Okay. Well, I just thought it was funny because Jacob, before you were saying on Ubisoft, like, yeah, I like Ubisoft. They're like, Ubisofts are a solid 7 out of 10. Like and I play them knowing they'll be that. And then since you've said that, I've seen like 4 Reddit posts saying the exact same. They're just 7 out of 10 open world time wasters that I like for what they are. And I'm like, that's sad. Like, don't play that. Don't spend $70 on that. But apparently your opinion is very common.
I mean, also, people might be playing these like way down the line, like picking up a game when it's much cheaper, and it's got its Game of the Year edition. I mean, it's basically the fast food equivalent of video games. You know what you're getting. You just want something to play. You got it. Play it for 30, 40, 50 hours, move on to the next one.
Yeah, but like McDonald's is successful, you know?
Ubisoft was for a while.
Yeah, they were. Like, Assassins, everybody knows Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
You know, just like everybody knows McDonald's is bad for you, but people still eat it.
Where's my supersize me for Ubisoft?
We'll get there. I'm sure there's a YouTube documentary that's out there.
If not, it's being made.
It's being made. All right, what else?
That's about the end of my news. What do you got for us, Kyler?
Oh, so I got a couple things. There was a partnership announced where SAG-AFTRA, which is the movement by multiple like video game voice actors and stuff, trying to kind of skirt the problems with AI, is now teaming up with AI voice company Ethovox, and this is pretty interesting. So Ethovox is a company that provides like professional AI voice work, you know, whatever that means to you.
What?
Yeah. So
What?
so basically they're going to be the ones that companies would go to if they want to use like officially licensed AI voices, right? So the idea is the voice actors that are part of this movement will be providing their voices to this company to use officially to give out to other companies, and then they will reimburse the voice actors for their use.
They're an AI voice talent agency.
Essentially, yeah. And this is pretty interesting. So what it sounds like is it could very much be possible for like indie voice or indie game developers to use the voices of very famous voice actors in their video games just by paying this company. They don't have to hire the voice actor or anything. They could just basically pay for their voice and use it in their game.
I see, like, I mean, for one, in the long run, this feels negative for voice actors, right? Like, if you license away all your shit, then your work stops coming in. On the opposite end of that, I'm like, well, let's say you license your AI voice and it's used in 100 different indie games, right? Everybody knows it. and it creates more people know voice actors more, like that your name becomes more recognizable as it's in every game, even though it's AI, it's still mass marketing. And now when somebody wants a premium experience, they have to pay you a lot more to actually come in and do live lines. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it is like a negative, but I think it's a very positive outlook for what it could be. What could be worse than this?
I feel like it places more of a control on what they worried about, at least.
Yeah, this is definitely like a settlement over what could have been a very bad situation where we just completely ignore voice actors and just do what we want. Like that totally could have happened. I think this is definitely something that's way better than that.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah, so it seems interesting. I don't know how the compensation is going to work exactly. I don't know if it's royalty, if it's per, no idea. They haven't really said that, but it is still our first kind of like AI protection deal for voice actors that I know of. So yeah, hopefully that goes well. And I wonder if we get any more, because I don't know like any company that has hired Ethovox for anything. I don't know what they've done, so I don't know how that sale is even going to go down in general anyways. So we'll have to see.
I think you're totally right. Sorry.
The name Ethobox just makes me think of like, it's like the exact type of company I'd seen some dystopian like video game as like
It
a
does.
company, right? Like it gives that vibes of like,
But
Yeah,
that's
you
because
see it
you're
on, like,
in a
moving
dystopia.
billboard.
That's
Yeah.
why you're inside of a dystopia right now. How's it feel?
Might as
where's
well
my
be.
cybernetics?
You're not allowed to have
Nah,
those. That's only for the people
No,
with money.
the only thing you're gonna get is like targeted billboards on your way to work that tell you about Ethovox
In your
and their
eyes.
AI extreme personalities just for you, Strider.
And it's funny, you can't even say that because we already have cybernetics. Freaking Neuralink by Elon Musk. It's already a thing. It's here. You're in a dystopia.
I feel like I
If
don't
I can't be
want
more
a
machine
Neuralink.
than man,
I don't want a
want
Neuralink
it.
made by that guy.
uh,
Go
ahead.
Well, I just like. I know we talk about voice actors a lot, and honestly, up until a couple years ago, I didn't really care about voice actors.
Mhm.
And then I started seeing a couple games that just had like excellent, like God of War, like these voice lines, right?
Yeah.
More.
And then also with the glut of movies where, for kids where they're replacing, traditional voice actors because I've been watching kids movies with my daughter the last couple of years, and they replace voice actors with regular actors, and it's not good. It's not the same. They do not bring the same level of energy whatsoever.
No, they really
It's
don't.
just, I mean, go watch the new Transformers movie. Me and Strider watched it, and the whole time we were kind of like, ugh. It's just, it's not. When Optimus Prime. Spoilers.
What does that mean?
It doesn't matter. You know what's gonna happen.
it's the like,
And like he's about to fight, and then fucking Chris Hemsworth's voice comes out of there. You're like, oh man,
What's
this is
happening?
not it. Yeah.
although to be fair, at least a little bit, you fucking hated Megatron's voice actor the entire.
I hate that
like,
guy.
on principle. Like there is some.
He is so unfunny. He is a vacuum of humor. Like, I hate that guy.
like the vitriol you had for as soon as you realized who it was funny.
Yeah.
He's the worst part of every movie I've seen him in. I hate that guy.
Damn.
I mean, to be fair, it's like it's a different art form, right?
It really is. Yeah.
The thing with the voice actors is because if you've ever watched like recordings of them do it, like they do actually do act as they speak too, and it's very difficult.
Those dudes pass out screaming in Dragon Ball Z. You can see it on YouTube. Like they fall down.
He fucked
Dude,
up
they
his
go
voice for a
hard.
while doing that.
Oh, that just made me think. Have you guys did you hear anything about the interview for Igon's voice actor from the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC?
No.
So you know how he has like roughly like 5 or 6 minutes of voice lines like throughout the entire thing. Like if even that, right? It took him like over 6 hours to record that, and it took him another session the next week to come back, and because that was his first video game role that he had ever done. And like he was talking about like he had no idea what to expect, and he started getting voice direction because of like, can you explode, was like his voice direction of what he was told to do. And turns out that man can absolutely explode. He was also talking about the fact that like he gets quoted a lot. And like that's not a thing that he was used to, and he was like very surprised about how much gamers loved his acting, and
yeah, I mean,
just how much
it's just
people were praising his like his voice lines. He was very happy with what the community had said was showing him.
And this was a boss in the DLC, right?
No, this was the summon. This was Igot. I don't know if you actually saw Igot.
No, I didn't.
Because he's tied to the Bale boss. And,
No,
I
I didn't do that.
Absolutely one of the highlights of the DLC.
Yeah.
Dang, I should go back.
No, but voice actors definitely do struggle because one is like direction, where some voice actors do not get very good like voice direction, and that is so critical for them because some people don't realize that some voice actors, they don't know who they're voicing. They don't even sometimes know what they're voicing. Like they don't know who the character is, what they're doing, why they're doing it, nothing, and they just have to guess. And yeah, like that's what they do.
Yeah, I knew that. I was just thinking. So apparently, Matt Mercer, with one of his roles, he wasn't told anything, and he was like, "Okay, I wonder what I'm going to be doing." And he just like he got like the info packet or whatever to like prep him for the role. It was just a fucking picture of Ganondorf. He was like, I know who this is.
That's great. Now you know what? I like that for the be like you just. I just like to imagine, you have the hype factor. You're like, yeah, I get the fucking voice of this guy.
Yeah, so it's I hope they definitely do get some good deals here with AI kind of verging over their jobs. It's like a shadow hovering over them. This is so far a step in a good direction as far as that goes.
I feel bad for voice actors, man, because like a lot of times I'll get news articles that are just people catching shit. Mm-hmm. Like the latest one, just because we're still on the subject, is the voice actor for Wuklamot in Final Fantasy 14 has just been getting blasted.
Yeah.
And not because of her. I mean, I did not enjoy the voice acting, but they're blasting her over trans issues, which has like nothing to do with it. And I think like another part that's hard for voice actors is they have to deal with the gaming community, which is pretty nasty when it wants to be.
Yeah, like one thing with Wuklamot, people hated her voice, but a lot of people don't even realize like they've never voice acted. We talked about this on when we did the episode on that.
They should be mad at Sony.
Yeah,
like don't be mad at her at Wuklamot. That's like that was their first. I mean, that is such a bad decision to be like, here's our game. Everybody's been waiting for,
man. Because I watched the comparison between like the English voice and the Japanese voice. It is. I don't understand me when I say it. It is night and day. Like there is infinitely more emotion in the Japanese voice acting for Wuklamot.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't really be mad at Wuklamot's voice acting.
No, I'm not ripping on. It was their first acting role. They'd never really done anything before that. So
yeah, it's their first like lead role that they've ever done. And yeah, like I'm very surprised that they decided to do that for such a like monumental expansion, and especially for how like centered Wuklamot is in the story.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. And I remember it was crazy because I even went and checked out their YouTube page after. I have more YouTube subscribers than they do by a lot. Like that was crazy to me. My mind was blown. I thought I was on the wrong page. No, I'm over here going, Sony, what did you do? Why did you do this to this poor person? They don't deserve all this shit.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
To be fair, I will say I don't think Sony can really control the current things they're getting flamed about, though. The choice to make them the voice actor, sure, but the current thing, no.
Oh yeah, no, it's just people being awful.
That's just
well, that's what I was saying about gaming. The gaming community is like, gaming community is shit when it comes to
A lot of things.
A lot of things. A lot of things. But especially like because there's more. I don't know if one of you guys have this or not, but like people are bashing the new God, what game is it? Dragon Age.
Yeah, Valgard over the woke
they're
stuff or whatever they say.
Yeah, people, man, gamers hate new things. And I'm not saying it's done in that game perfectly, but it doesn't deserve to be like top
I think
news,
Valgard.
you know?
I think Valgard. The concerns with it are a little bit more understandable because apparently it's not just what they refer to as woke, but it's like badly written woke.
It's terrible, like from what I understand, from what I was hearing.
If it was I think if it was well written, people wouldn't even really care as much. But it's the fact that it's terribly written that it's so.
I don't even know
that it's so, like
I have
on
no
the
context.
nose. We were talking about this earlier. I think it was a character comes out. Was it like they come out as non-binary? It was a whole quest line on them
From the little bit I gathered, yeah, because I remember seeing a cutscene of them like sitting out at a table, coming out to their parents or something, and I'm like,
but apparently it's like really terribly written.
it's just ham-fisted, I guess.
Yeah.
Very, very blunt.
But like it's like on the nose. Like there's no like subtlety from the sounds of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't say, I don't know. I haven't played it, and also it's not an issue that like I should have a say in whatsoever to begin with. So I got nothing on that.
Yeah, the only thing like I could see why people would be so mad is because just the question of like, should this really be in a Dragon Age game?
That's quick because like
but at the same time, like you just have to accept it for what it is and just move on. It's like not that big of a deal. If it doesn't affect you, then like why do you care? You know, and the people who do care about it, they get it and they get their kind of their moment. So you can just kind of leave it alone and leave it at that. You know. That's how it is for me, at least.
I don't think it's the first time anything like that has been in a Dragon Age game. I'm pretty sure there have been characters of all different orientations in Dragon Age. I think it's just like, I think ultimately it comes down to like, is it well written or not? Because this is, BioWare, well, at one point they were known for their stellar writing. I don't know how they kind of fallen from grace over more recent years, but
I think recent years, like, I think for me, ever since Mass Effect 3.
It's been a while.
Just the ending of 3.
I was trying to be nice, man.
No, dude, don't even. That made me mad. The ending of Mass Effect 3, I was angry. But
you beat
to move
the
on here,
Reapers.
so I don't take all the time. The last thing I have, at least, is League of Legends Worlds 2024 just ended.
Who won?
Right, with T1 won again.
Oh, shit.
Faker, our boy, did it
Is this
again.
3 or 4 times now?
It's like his 5th.
Is it his 5th? Okay, it's more than that. This is his 5th Worlds. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
I thought he was older. He's only
No.
28.
No.
Yeah,
He's not that much. He's
for actually like a professional esports gamer, he's pretty
Oh
old.
yeah, he's a geezer.
Yeah.
they're done way before then, but he's proven
But
once
they
again
did,
he is crazy.
Yeah, they did. They beat the previous esports viewership record this year at just under 7 million viewers, beating themselves.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 7 million. It's pretty. Yeah, like esports is such a crazy venue. Like I can't. If you ever look at one of the stadiums in that, it like blows your mind that many people are showing up.
Yeah, they're
to watch
packed.
video games. Yeah, and then you have 7 million people watching online. Like that is nuts.
I will say though, I think there's something cool about that. Like it's pretty cool to see that video games are like can become like a medium like that.
Yeah,
I like
and
it.
To put it into perspective, like the Olympics, the World Olympics had like an average of 30 million viewers. So to think that like one video game can pull in a third of that's nuts.
Yeah, and also with how young video games are in comparison to the Olympics of all things. Yeah, it's they've only gone up. Like they're only getting more and more popular as time goes on.
I mean, watching high level competitive play is entertaining. Like even if I don't understand, say like everything about a particular fighting game, I still like watching high level play. It's fun.
I think the commentators deserve a lot of credit in that.
Well, yeah.
because I'll watch like fighting game I've never touched before the competition if they're on top of it. And same with League. League goes hard. The commentators usually do a pretty damn good
I
job.
love watching Maximilian Dude like freak out over stuff going on in like a competitive game. But he's just a cool dude in general, so
That's true. And then Faker won again, which it's still so wild to me that someone could be like, they've described him as the Michael Jordan of esports, which I don't know who else could even like rival him.
I don't
to be
think
honest,
there's anyone else that could really compete for that title with him, because that guy, like, he 5-time world champ, man, like that's insane.
He's just built different. Like the only reason he started playing ranked is because the lobbies in normal queues started taking too long after he'd already become like top dog. Like he has his own skins and he doesn't use or buy them.
And his philosophy on why he does that is pretty cool too. Like with the whole,
Why does he do that?
Oh, he wants to pay respect and homage to like the original art designer. Like just the character's base design.
Yeah,
seems like a pretty cool dude.
he is. If you actually look into Faker, he also he donates a lot of money. Like during
I was
COVID.
gonna make a joke. I was gonna make a joke that he donates to the homeless, but no, he actually does do that.
So, yeah, he actually does. He actually has donated quite a bit of funds, like during COVID, and also like during the 2022 floods in South Korea. He was donating money. Like he's a pretty cool dude, and the amount of awards he's received is absurd.
Dude,
I've actually looked into like his rewards that he's gotten over the years, and it's nuts.
I just remember this. I don't know why it reminded me of just like it popped in my head that one clip of like him and Tyler One on a video call. They're like, "Look, I got our action figures, buddy." They have the action figures of each other.
Yeah, him and Tyler One are for some reason like really good friends, which is pretty funny. Because at one point they competed for Twitch viewership, and they kept beating each other's records.
Yeah.
Now, Quentin, here's the question: do you think they're gonna do another $500 skin?
Oh yeah,
because he won for the 5th time.
They definitely.
This one's gonna
are.
be 520.
Every championship victory is another jump in price.
Yeah.
Well, the $500 skin was because they inducted him into the League of Legends Esports Hall of Fame, which I did not know was not his first time being in a Hall of Fame. He's actually been in the Hall of Fame for other things, like 6 times.
Jesus. Like what other stuff?
The German Esports Hall of Fame in 2019.
Oh.
And the Korea Esports Hall of Fame he's been in 5 times.
Okay, that I'm not surprised about.
Yeah, he's won like 30 plus awards.
The German one,
it's
though,
kind
what?
of absurd. Yeah, like that. I was like, okay, that's interesting. I didn't even know they had one. But he's also like the first person to have ever like reached 1,000 kills in League of Legends competitive history. He's the first person to have 100 championship wins. Like he is just by far the best. And what I didn't know about him too is after his first Worlds win, League of Legends actually like changed the game to be more team oriented because he was too good at the game. Because he was just carrying so hard. Because when he entered the sport, there were at the time already people that were like the Faker of their times, right?
Oh yeah,
and he was 1v1ing them like no problem. He was like literally competing with the best of the best and winning. And at one point, one of his Zed plays became like the clip for League of Legends of all time.
Yeah, that's the Faker look at the moves.
Yeah. Yep. That's it right there. And I don't know. Like I don't think I've ever heard of a player that is as accomplished as him in such a competitive environment, because League of Legends is hard. I can't imagine like a harder game
unless you're
competitively.
Faker.
Yeah, unless you're Faker.
He makes it look easy.
But what do you have soon? That's my news.
I only have one thing now.
Oh, what do you
he
got?
took it all.
One of mine got stolen. Anyways.
What?
Good.
It was you who stole it.
Good.
Good.
Asshole. Anyways. My phone was just apparently like it's just something with Bethesda and that new Indiana Jones game. apparently, and it's probably just some legal stuff, but Bethesda felt the need to, despite the fact that one of the primary things you're doing in the new Indiana Jones game is like beating the shit out of and killing Nazis, they thought they had to put out the disclaimer that Indiana Jones does not condone Nazi actions, and the game is not Nazi propaganda.
That's interesting.
Yeah, the entire time in that game, you're just kicking the shit out of and killing Nazis. It's like, no shit.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, that was fun. I was just
Are
like,
you guys Indiana Jones fans?
I am.
Are you?
I like Indiana Jones, but I cannot say I've seen everything. I didn't hate what I've seen though. So
I don't enjoy the newer the newer movies, but I've watched like all the older ones several times with my grandpa. We used to watch them all the time.
Oh, you have a grandpa.
I did.
Oh, now I'm sad.
Good job.
Yeah, it was never a thing for me. I did like the one where he goes into the temple and there's Doom. That one's pretty
doesn't
good.
he go into a lot of
Although
temples?
I think people hate it. I don't know. I just saw the one.
Wait, Lionel, you're the Indiana Jones man. How many temples does he go into?
Depends on what you mean by temples. I mean, at Lost Ark, he went to like lots of things in the sand. That was a weird movie. You guys ever watch Lost Ark?
I don't.
Which one is that?
That's the one where they find the Lost Ark.
Is that the one where the guy's face melts off?
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen that.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's like at the end too. Like everything else is all normal, and then all of a sudden, oh, that's just actually real.
Yeah, well, no, wait. I thought this is not video games.
Why does this always happen?
It is though. Indiana Jones.
What's the one where he
out.
goes and gets the cup from the old man, and the old man dies?
Indiana Jones and the Old Man Killing Cup.
That's the one.
That's the one. Yeah,
That's the
okay.
one.
That's the one. All right.
I want every subsequent Indiana Jones title to be more and more specific.
They're just gonna start selling like light novel titles.
Indiana Jones and that one stick that's really shiny.
That's Last Crusade. I'm pretty sure is the one where they find the Holy Grail.
I was gonna, that would make sense if they're looking for the Grail.
Yeah, that's with Indiana Jones' father. I remember that one.
Yeah. Well, I guess have fun with your Indiana Jones game. I don't know.
Have you seen gameplay of it? I don't think I'm gonna play it.
It's like
it
a
looks
stealth
like
game,
worse.
right?
Yeah, it looks like worse Drake or Uncharted.
It's first person.
To be honest. Yeah.
Is it first person?
Yeah, it's first person.
Neat.
Yeah, I don't know.
Neat.
And I've played Uncharted. It's like an okay game. I know people really love that game.
I was a big fan of Uncharted. I think I played the entire series, besides maybe one. Depends.
My wife played them all, but to me it was always like I already played Tomb Raider growing up. Like I don't need any more of this.
Disc launcher.
Yeah, she likes all that.
That was Horizon, but I still remember
Yeah.
that.
All right, Fliz, what you got?
Oh, nothing.
Oh, I will say I did look at that Another Crab's Treasure one you sent me, Fliz. That one
Yeah.
that Krabby
What's
Souls
going on
like
with
that whole thing is just despite like how big of a hit that was, that dev team, what do they call it? Aggro Crab.
And this was the Crab Souls like game,
Another
right?
Crab's Treasure. But yeah, the developers Aggro Crab, apparently they were funding what they were gonna call their best game yet, and it's fizzled out. And yeah, apparently like they're like, yeah, 2024 is taking their prisoners, and it's just basically the article just talks about how, rough the industry is right now and how hard it is to get funding.
Dude, I didn't realize how until we started this podcast, there's been some serious changes in my view towards gaming in general since we started doing this. And it's hard, because I used to shit on games all the time. That was my favorite pastime, and I'm getting better at it. And actually what made me choose to start getting better was streaming Tall Poppy, some nothing indie game, and it was some little horror game, and I was like, oh, let's just stream this, it'll be fun. And I was really just about to lay into it, and then the developer showed up in my stream, and he was such a nice guy and was just like super appreciative that I was playing his game at all. And he invited me to his Discord, and like when he comes out with the second one, I'm allowed to play. And I'm like, I wasn't a big streamer or anything. I was just a guy playing his game, and he was happy to see that.
Which game was it?
And I was in it. Tall Poppy.
Although
I had similar experience with the Dread X collection, because those developers will come in as well if you're streaming them sometimes. But like attaching a face or a personality to gaming has like, and even just playing Death Stranding, like hating AAA games and just realizing that, oh, some of them do look pretty good, and like there's a reason they cost so much. And then just hearing constantly how volatile and extreme the industry is. Like, it's not easy. It is not easy to be in the gaming industry in like any position.
Yeah, that is true.
One thing I did, also thing I learned through that article was I didn't know that Among Us, the company behind them, were using like Among Us to help fund other indie games.
Like their own indie games or just random ones?
It just says help fund other indie games. I'm assuming there's like I'm assuming there has to be some kind of organizational thing behind it, like a separate entity that is owned by them. But yeah, it says Among Us is using its cash cow to fund other indie games.
Does Among Us cost money?
I believe so. Yeah, it's been a while since I played it, but it was
like a few dollars. It was like very cheap.
It's not expensive at all. But that game is so Canadian, it's like almost $4.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm a huge fan of like Blumhouse games, and how their kind of strategy is just like giving some funds to like indie developers so they can make their things, right? Because when you look at the skills needed to make a video game, like you need to know programming, you need to know art. Not only do you need to know art, you need to know animation, you need to know writing so you can know how to write your game. You need to be able to have all the software to do all of these different things. Then you have to spend time like testing it, making sure it works. You have to do quality assurance on it too. Like, it is stuff that is like almost impossible for like a single person to do.
Okay, I actually found it. So Innersloth is the dev studio behind Among Us, and their funding program is called Outer Sloth. It says basically, we want to fund your game. We don't want to publish your game. We don't want your IP. We just want to see fun, original, and clever games get made.
That's awesome.
And we want to make that as friendly as possible. So, yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, go check out the Among Us TV show coming soon.
I forgot that was a thing.
It's a thing.
You unearthed the memory. Why would you do that?
To speak on what you were saying, Lionel, like even if you tone it down to just writing, like imagine writing a story, right? Hard enough as it is to write a good story. Now imagine that every time some of the characters talk to each other, they're going to branch off and create and change parts of the story or the story entirely from multiple sets of options, which will then, like, you have to write a split timelines for one story. Like that's crazy to think about doing that.
Yeah. And it's what makes, honestly, me appreciate the process for making games and like what is technically possible. Like if you want an example of writing, like Baldur's Gate 3, like the amount of things and endings you can achieve in Baldur's Gate 3 is absurd.
I can't imagine.
I started seeing some of that with I've been playing those Romancing Saga games recently because that remake came out, and I didn't realize that some of them could have like hundreds of hours worth of just replaying through, because that's how much things can branch and change. And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's quite a testament to like make a well-written multi-choice game. That's not me. Like, that ain't ever happening. You couldn't pay me an amount of money to make a decent story out of that kind of structure.
You just want rhythm game.
Yeah, the devs for Baldur's Gate 3 estimated, and these are very minute endings, but there are about 17,000 unique variations to the ending of Baldur's Gate 3.
That is a lot. Does that come down to things like well, obviously choices, but like does that include things like what race your character is and class and all that?
Yeah, so that's
Okay.
like that is every like minute that you could go through to get to the end. Is 17,000 different variations.
Just
Dang.
crazy.
And how long is the game itself generally?
I think it's like 120 some hours.
Holy
Yeah, it's
shit.
a huge game.
No wonder other studios were like, yeah, fuck you, Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, 75 to 100 hours. And that really just
God.
depends on like, you know,
How you play, yeah.
I still think
Exactly.
that whole fuck you balls get thing is ridiculous though. They put in the work, they deserve the credit, man.
They do. No, and honestly, it was kind of like a compliment as well, you know? Like, you're too good, fuck you.
I'm just imagining, like, imagine you're in school and your teacher tells you to write a 17,000 word essay. You'd throw up. Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not doing
Or then
that.
you'd be that like shit kid that's like, it was very, 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 very just pad out shit.
Yeah, that's a Ubisoft game.
True. No, Ubisoft would make you go and collect the words first.
Right. I'm glad you're appreciating the video game devs that you've been subtly interacting
Yeah.
with.
Don't get me wrong, I'll still shit on a game. It's fun. I like it. And some games deserve it.
That's true.
Looking
What-
at you, Final Fantasy. But
I
Go
don't
ahead.
agree,
I know
but
you're
whatever.
gonna talk
No,
about it
I'm
now.
I'm not. That game deserves a lot of love. Not that expansion though. Yeah, anyway. The only other thing I did have that I don't really want to shit on, because I've seen a lot of shit on, is I played the beta for Monster Hunter. Because I had to. I
You needed it.
man, I did. I'm surprised you guys didn't touch it. I was kind of shocked.
Yeah, I'm saving it.
I want
I'm saving my
I want to
hype.
wait and go on blind.
Yeah.
I guess nothing was spoiled. Should I just not talk about it if you guys want to go in blind?
No, I'm fine. It's more of a like if I get my hands on it, I'll want it more and it'll be harder to wait.
Yeah. that's part of it pretty much for the most part.
So they kind of did it in a way that I really enjoyed, right? The main thing that everybody hates is the game is too powerful for anybody's PC. No matter who you are, I don't care if you work at NASA, you're gonna struggle with Monster Hunter. That being said, I was playing it at what was 1080p, 60 FPS.
60
I think
FPS
Jacob was
with
there.
potentially frame gen. You had like really low resolution scaling, and you had DLSS turned to performance, I think.
Oh,
So it didn't look like the shiniest brand new triple. Like Death Stranding looked way better. That's kind of my baseline at this point. That's the nicest new game I've played, and that's years old. It played fine. I didn't have any hiccups. The one noticeable thing that happened is the water chose when to exist. But other than that, like it's you get your intro cutscene, you do a little thing. I will say I was scared the whole time playing it that like my PC would just shut off, and part of that was what everybody's been saying, and part of that was like, oh shit, some stuff's happening that I don't know if my PC can render
We'll be
properly.
happy with this.
And that was just in the cutscenes. The worst part, like mechanics wise, was just in town, just because there was other players, and it became noticeably choppy at points.
oh,
But that's a thing
But
with a
that
lot of
being
games, though.
said, yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. That being said, the gameplay was totally fine. I had no hiccups, no, I couldn't tell if a frame dropped. Another part of that, why that works for me, is because I never played Monster Hunter for the graphics. I mean, it looks cool, but it's not like I don't know I don't know why they made it so impressive. I don't think this is that kind of game, really. I don't know the series, but like if you look at all the older ones, they all kind of look whatever. I don't know.
nasty.
Not
No,
the
I get
worst.
what you mean.
There is a reason that World became mainstream.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it looks nice and it plays nice, and I think a big part of the world is like it feels good. Everything feels weighty.
Yeah.
And so you do your cutscene, you get to the first town, they say go hunt these monsters, and that's the end of the beta, right? You go hunt the monsters and you can pick up items, I guess, but you can't buy or change anything. You can just, if you want to, once you're done, you can go wander around and hunt monsters with people and, you know, but not for any real gain. It's just to test out the things. And I've been kind of hyped for this and that game, or really excited. I don't know. This is the first game in a while I turned it on, and as soon as I started hitting monsters and like doing the great sword combos, I felt warm in my soul. Like I really like it plays and looks just like World. Except there's some new mechanics. Especially for, I didn't try out any other weapons because I never will. I don't care. For the great sword, they've added like parry mechanics, which is fantastic. It feels wonderful.
Yep.
There's two different kinds of parry that work, and then a whole other mechanic where you can aim your sword now. You can make sure your final hit always hits.
You can whiff. You can whiff harder.
You can, yeah, I guess so. I still whiffed my fucking sleeping bomb. The monster was sleeping. I put the bomb down and I hit him with the first part of the true charge slash instead of the last hit.
I called you out on it.
Yeah, you did. Anyway, I'm super excited. It felt great. The audio didn't feel quite done, although that might just be me. It some of the, like when a monster is like stomping around, you don't feel that the weight. And maybe I'm just misremembering, and World didn't really have that either, but I was distinctly watching a cutscene and was like, that doesn't sound and feel right.
Yeah,
when something that big is stomping around. Yeah, and that might change, it might not. But that was the really solid gripe that I had with it, was the sound design at certain points only. Other than that, like what is it, February?
Yep.
End of February.
Oh, it felt so good. It scratched an itch I can't reach. And I might have to pick up, what's the other one that we were talking about?
Rise.
Rise
and Sunday.
Just to kind of, although,
Did you not play Rise with us?
Kyler, you said no, because Kyler said the greatsword sucked ass in it. And that's the only thing I want to do is play greatsword. I've tried the hammer. I've tried the charge. I just like the greatsword.
Huh.
If I can't use it, I don't want to play it.
With Rise, the greatsword's frustrating because the mechanics they give you to deal with the increased movement from the monsters is very frustrating mechanic. Like it's nice at times, but the ability that makes it the best and kind of the most fun, you don't get until like the expansion. So it's like a lot of just suffering. And then even after that, it's not the greatest thing. It's just kind of frustrating overall. It does not feel like Monster Hunter. It feels like a fake Monster Hunter. Like that's what it feels like.
Now I'm thinking, what was that game that came out alongside World that was a free-to-play Monster Hunter type
Dauntless?
thing? Dauntless. There you go.
I forgot that existed.
So did everybody else.
Not me.
Not Jacob, actually. I'm wrong. Immediately proven wrong again. Story of my life. Yeah, I am. The beta just made me more excited. I'm not like losing my mind, but I feel really good about what's going to happen.
Yeah, so that's why I didn't want to play it. I was going to lose my mind. I was not going to have a good time.
My number one thing about Monster Hunter, though, is like they're very good games, but they're always so much better with their expansion.
Yeah,
from the ones I've played.
I mean, that's what you'd want. So
yeah,
World and Rise are fine. They're like 8s for me, but with their expansions, they're easily like high 9s, like 9.5s.
Oh, really? Like even the original Monster Hunter World was like a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah,
I
that was a 10 from the start.
Yeah, and then the Iceborne just made it like. Just more. I get more.
Iceborne fixed one of my big issues with World, and that was the monster variety.
Oh, I didn't have a problem with that.
I didn't have a problem with that either.
Yeah, me neither.
No, because that's one of the big things about Wilds is just how much more variety there is. Like, people are joking that it's going to be Frontier 2. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, even that, like, I just remember playing Worlds on PlayStation and being kind of like shocked that, I get all this for one game. Like, this is what I've been like. This is, and every time I log back in, you know, every couple of weeks, there's like new stuff to get and new. Like, I was kind of shocked. I felt like because I've been so used to playing games that were incomplete from release, and then I was like, oh shit, this is baller. Like, as my first Monster Hunter game, I was like, I've been missing out. This is good.
And I remember when I played it, to me, everything was an upgrade because I played like Monster Hunter Tri back on the Wii, and like World was such an upgrade to everything about Monster Hunter for me. Besides like them taking out water combat, which I didn't mind, but everyone hated water combat. So
I was not a fan of the water combat. Although my first experience was on the 3DS and it controls like fucking beans.
It does. It's really bad, but I actually didn't mind at all because the water monsters were so dope. But
they're cool, but goddamn, was playing that fucking beans.
But World was such a fantastic game. I absolutely loved it. I'm excited for Wilds. There was one thing though, Fliz, that I wanted to talk to you about before we stopped, because there was another game where you hated the devs so much.
Okay, give me one. Let me just finish on World. Just my thing. Like, go ahead and play the beta. It's like the one thing I really want to get at is I've been seeing nothing but hate about the graphics and all that in this, and like, fair if you want to play at the highest graphics things, but if you just want to play Monster Hunter, like, it's there and it's good and it's just Worlds but more. So I'm like I said, super excited. Don't believe all the bullshit about the graphics.
Well, I don't know about that.
Maybe not. I mean, believe it, because if you do try to set it high,
like dog shit, dude.
I was also streaming it to you, and it didn't look that bad to me. Like, did you have any drop frames while I was playing?
No.
Yeah, I didn't either. That's what I care about.
No drop frames, but I could see your game stutter a little bit at a few points. But the actual stream itself was fine.
While playing it, it didn't seem to matter. It didn't matter at all to me. So, if you care about the gameplay over graphics, I guess
it is playable.
It is more than playable. Sorry. Okay, go for it. I just wanted to end that where I wanted to end it.
How's the latest Guilty Gear Strive Pass treating you?
Fuck, we forgot to talk about
it's
Guilty
a fucking
Gear.
Clusterfuck. What do you mean? It's so good.
We were just talking about how you've been trying to be more patient with devs, and I heard you today. Who the fuck designed this?
What fucking
Whose choice was this?
I'm sorry. I'm a Potemkin player. They took the character and shot him out back.
They
I don't know what they were
limited
thinking.
your glue rations.
Like, for a character that has, if y'all don't know, Guilty Gear Strive just had its season 4 release. And if you play fighting games at all, I cannot recommend that game enough. It's you know, the joke is true. You get a great soundtrack with a game attached. Like, it's fucking, that game has given me so many hours of it. I love that. I love everything about that game, minus some of the choices made. And the fact that the one character I like keeps getting shit on. So I play Potemkin, and he has movement issues. Like, he's missing mechanics that are base mechanics for a majority of the cast, because he's just a huge character and that's how he works. One of the ways to circumvent that was a move where you, it's called Kara canceling. You basically input another extra input to get a little extra distance so your moves would connect. And it's been like, that's the main part of the character since the game's been out. Like, if you don't, the game doesn't teach you about it, you have to like go and figure it out for yourself. Like, oh, maybe this is why this works, because people, you know, it's like a secret technique that you have to know to use the character.
Yeah.
And they killed it. They removed it entirely. They said no. And so now all these things that I try to do, I don't have the distance, and and all the characters are stronger, generally speaking. So they made a couple changes that I am happy about. But that one thing where they just took, I mean, the character is known for this input, and they said no. And I can't imagine why they said no. I can't wrap my head around it. I don't think there's any real Potemkin players who are happy with this change.
I doubt it, because I imagine the reason they did it is because it's such a super secret. They don't talk about it in the game because it's such a niche mechanic until you start getting better at the game, and then it's like required to move on, right? And they just more were trying to get rid of it to make it better for newer players, but I don't think it was a good call.
I don't
think so either.
I don't think that's it though, because
I don't. That's the only reason I can think of. I don't know why they would get rid of it for everyone.
So, because other characters have Karas and Kara cancels, and they weren't touched. So I don't think that was the reason. But also,
I thought they did. Didn't Ramothal lose her Kara canceling too?
I don't know if Ram lost it. I know Soul has his. Now go gain some.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he literally took your 6K, by the way. Like, it is a 6K Kara. Slayer has Karas. A few, Jacko got a unique dash cancel Kara thing. But yeah, there's a bunch of characters, at least a handful of characters that have some. They weren't touched, or they gained something. But also, apparently, this is starting to make Potemkin play more like he did in the old games, from what I was reading.
In what way?
And this is more in line with like how Xrd Potemkin plays, and Accent Core, or whatever it is, XX, where like he has a very devastating combo route, like off of like one single interaction that it like usually happens.
Yes,
I know. I think another thing that he got in this patch was I think Blue Wild Assault strike throw, where he has unfuzzyable strike throw off of a Blue Wild Assault hit.
I mean, yeah, you can Blue Wild Assault into Kara or into Potbuster, but like, it's like a different character.
Yeah, it's definitely he has a different playstyle now.
And I thought, because I'm not saying I'm good with Potemkin, right? Like, I can't do a lot of like reliably do a lot of the Kara cancels that like professional Potemkin players could do, whatever that means. Extremely high level. Like there's like a break point you have to hit with each what you can do, because you can play the game to a certain level, but you need to be able to Kara cancel back Mega Fist to complete combos that will win games higher up, and I couldn't do that reliably. So I thought like, hey, I abuse Slide Head a lot. They made that do damage. And I'm not the greatest with Mega Fist Kara cancels, so this might be good. And just, it feels like a lot of characters got added mobility and they took mobility away from Potemkin. And I could be viewing this wrong. All I know is it feels bad. It feels gross. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll watch some YouTubers or whatever explain to me why it's better this way. But just first couple days in, it feels bad.
Okay, let's get back to FL. That you had.
I fought one that the amount of characters. Oh my god, Kai has
a bug.
Install.
Kai has a bug. He
has a bug. Yeah, but nobody fought me and used the you're talking about the projectile bug, right?
Yeah, it's because they buffed the charge stun edge too much in Dragon Install that it can infinite.
Yeah. So even without the bug, every Kai I fought installed at the end of their HP every single time. And it killed me every single time. That shit is so oppressive. The offense of the game feels like it's been increased dramatically. And I'm sitting there blocking block strings like it's fighters instead of anything else, like instead of Guilty Gear.
Yeah, it feels because I play Kai, but I've only really ever fought you before. And I know the thing that you struggle with the most as Potemkin is like your defensive game is like non-existent.
Because his defense sucks.
Yeah. And it definitely feels like the patches that come out just add more offensive options, and the defensive options for you like go up a little bit, but they're just mitigated by all the offensive options that everyone has now.
like one of my real defensive options is to spend 100 meter to HPB cancel into Potbuster. Like that's and I use that regularly, and I could do it faster and spend less meter, but like other characters have meterless uppercuts that are invincible. I don't know. I mean, it's my choice to play this character. I can't complain too much, but I doesn't feel good.
I just
I really love that
I only
game.
brought up the Elfelt thing because I thought you were enjoying her as well as like a side.
Elfelt was a character I was using when I was fighting people, because we had a couple people play like just starting, and so I was just trying to find a easy character that I could
Whoop their ass with.
Yeah. Well, then I would have a harder time doing that, you know.
Hey.
And Elfelt felt goofy.
Hey, you can always pick up Gold Lewis now. Become our Gold Lewis main.
No, that's Soon's job.
Is it?
It has been. I don't think I'll do that. His inputs are, I don't know. I mean, I definitely saw the clip of him 100 to zeroing somebody without touching the ground. Like, all right. The master of defense.
I hope it's just a matter of like you had to slightly adjust your play styles. And I'm sure there's gonna be videos of Potemkins coming out with like, here's how what you're supposed to do now instead of what you were doing before.
Yeah, there's
kind of. I watched some combo videos, and it's not. They don't feel good to do.
There's always you always need time for big patches like this in fighting games.
Yeah, this is kind of there's a lot of adjustments they're making, so
and there'll probably be adjustments based on unforeseen things, like Ramlethal's sword not disappearing when she gets hit, or Kai's fucking infinite.
They should keep that. I like that.
No.
Oh, you would. You'd have an infinite, and yet you'd still just run up and tick throw me. Like
it work every time is the problem.
And now
I think my problem is that like you can say like the combo routes might change, but they didn't like give Potemkin anything new to change the combo. Like they actively took away his mobility and didn't replace it with anything else. So I don't know where they could really go.
I meant more like full like play style changes on how you're supposed to play him, I think is going to be how it goes, because Kara was such an important aspect to him that like that's the only thing I can imagine for how to kind of circumvent it. Because it sounds like they increased the range of some of his other moves to make up for it, but it's still nowhere near what it used to be. Like you could no longer round start Potemkin Buster anymore. Like it just doesn't work.
And I get that's what you're saying, but I'm saying he doesn't even have any other options to try out. You know, like the best option a lot of times seems to be far/heavy/ like slide head, and just use him as a poke character, which feels really stupid, but it works sometimes.
It does. Your normals are enormous.
But it's not the character, you know?
Specifically his normals got buffed a lot in this patch. He had a lot of changes to specifically slash and heavy slashes.
Which would be cool if he could chain those into anything. But you can't.
He can chain his fucking 6H repeatedly in the corner. He does some stupid shit I've seen already.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter about the distance. You know what I'm saying? Like if you changed his far and heavy slash to hit farther distances, like I can't even Roman cancel after that to do anything. It doesn't connect. It's stupid. All his moves knock people farther away. I'm not a professional. I'm sure, like I said, there's people who can tell me why I'm wrong, and they'll be right, and I can't argue with them. But this is all just first day in feels, and I don't like it.
Yeah. I remember the main complaint to it was people were saying that it retracted from his
skill
expression. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, the skill expression I'm seeing now is using hammer fall cancels to extend distance, which
are harder. They're harder than cars.
It's just is such a weird input that doesn't feel good. And it's not even for that much extra it's stupid. It's okay, I got armor on Potbuster that doesn't kick in until I'm already on the floor.
Wait, yeah, that one was kind of weird. Isn't it only active like if you were going to grab them?
Yep.
What it means is
No. I've taken hits and missed. Like it doesn't always work like that. It's active. It's not. There's a couple frames before it's actually active. So
yeah, it's active during the armor kicks in during the active frames of the actual grab, which means it will win trades at close range with single hit normals.
if you time it right. And that's not even like if you time it right. It's more like if luck shines on you. Because if they wake up 5p, you're still gonna, that armor doesn't kick in yet.
So
know?
I was thinking about this in Slayer. I think a well-timed Potbuster beats all of his options on Dandy Step.
Maybe.
All 4 options I think will lose the Potbuster if it's timed right.
I've definitely his move that he jumps in the air and hits you overhead that he Rekka's into, I guess. I don't know if it's a Rekka, but his option to overhead, like you can't Potbuster that. Sometimes it hits, but it's weird. There's been a lot of the last 2 patches. There's been like a lot of times where I've Potbuster people who are like off the ground still, which is weird. But
I know the one where he jumps in the air and punches the ground, right? You can grab him out of it. The problem is it's disjointed. So like a huge disjoint. Like you actually look at the hitbox, it's enormous. So if he's too far away, it just won't land. And it's like a large distance. He has to be basically like rubbing up against your character.
You can also just jump up and throw him before he actually comes down, which happens to me all the fucking time when I play another person in this Discord. I get thrown out of it every time.
Well, come here, boy.
it's just because he knows how we play. He's only whooped our ass like 500 times together.
It's like the thing you would if you think that's going to happen, because Slayer can't really like mix it up too much in terms of the timing. So it's pretty consistent once you're used to it. Because all of my options, I get thrown on the second try. Like no matter what.
We have to fight some more because I'm really struggling with this patch. All the Slayers I fought, I can't tell what side I'm actually being hit on. You know, like a move happens over my head and I don't know where the actual attack is. Like I don't know where to block, and that's happened pretty consistently. I think it's just the one move actually. I don't
Master's
know where
Hammer.
I'm being hit.
Master's Hammer will cross up again off of punch at close range. So he'll go through you and then end back up on the side he started. If he does the kick version where he steps back then forward, he'll end up on your other side when he does it. This is like specifically after he's gotten a hard knockdown, and he's like right up for the distance where he can cross through you is what he wants. So you basically want to guess that he's going to do the punch version, and then if you see him actually go back for the kick version, you react to that.
I think I just got to put more hours in, I guess.
I'll play some.
I don't know.
I'm down.
Yeah, we'll play some.
So a little downtrodden about the latest Guilty Gear patch, but I mean, you know, at least they're releasing these huge patches and changing the game a lot.
I'm not look, yeah, in the moment I'm like, fuck you people, what are you doing? What did you do to my character? But overall, I think everybody should own a copy of this game.
Yeah.
Like it's
a great
Guilty
album.
Gear.
It's a fantastic album. It's got a video game too.
Yeah. I also want to fight your Kai again so I can relearn some fight. Dude, you wait till you get into his dragon install.
That's just the start.
I keep forgetting the input for Dragon Install because I never use it. I don't even use my other super. What is it called?
Red Lightning.
The arrow thing. Where you throw the arrow.
Oh,
Sacred
the
Edge
projectile.
Yeah. I don't even use that one.
Hold your
That super's
arm.
nuts
Yeah.
too.
I only use
Well,
like
both of them are.
normals. Like is one thing I've noticed of me playing. I only use normals. I almost never use my supers at all.
Well, I mean, that's just a lot of Kai's playstyle. It's because
Yeah.
you want to stun dipper into Roman cancel, so you always want that meter.
That is my super.
That is pretty much.
Roman
Pretty
cancel.
much. Yeah, I love the game. I'm gonna give it more time. Obviously, what am I gonna do? Stop playing Guilty Gear
Yes, right now. Never again.
right now?
Can't
I have way too many hours.
recording.
But yeah, I guess unless y'all got anything else,
Nope.
I think we'll end on that.
Sounds like a plan.
Call it good. Thank you all so much for listening, and thank you, gentlemen, for being here with us. If you have any questions or comments or interest in helping boost the podcast, leave a like, leave a comment, or email us at giantenemycrabpod@gmail.com. And we'll talk about it next time. Until then, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Ooh, why?